You sure you got the thing up?
Yes, we are live and on the air. This is OmniBros Live with OmniDog here. I'm one of your co-hosts. My other co-host from Near Mint Condition is Omar. Omar, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. It's been a while since we've done this. I don't think I've been on since last Monday when we interviewed Cameron. So it's good to see you. It's good to see everybody in the chat. So everybody doing okay tonight?
Yep, yep. What were you questioning? Were you trying to question my capabilities or something as we just started the show?
I'm always questioning your
You
capabilities.
have the chat up? Do you have everything going?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm good. So speaking of Cameron, we got some really good news today. Why don't you start it off with the whole in stock
I
trade?
sure will with our fabulous sponsor, InStockTrades, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions. Orders over $50 or more get you free shipping in the United States, fabulous packaging, loyalty discounts, and the best customer service you're ever going to find. And Omar has a special announcement from InStockTrades for our listeners, viewers, watchers, chatters. What's going on, Omar?
Oh man, okay. So, good news guys. As you some of you can probably tell, they have rebuilt the website. When you check
Specifically
out,
us.
it was really cool that they've done that. Like they've gone to links to do this for us. So you now can put a discount code at the whenever you purchase your things, you can see that little discount code space. So, we got the discount code. It's good for a week. And it starts, let me make sure I got this right. So, for the first sale, this is going to be 4% off. Now, bad news is it can't stack on top of your loyalty discount. So if you have 2% and you want to use the 4%, that's all you get is 4%. Of course, why would you want to use your 2%? So starting Friday, April 13th, tomorrow, until April 20th, starting at midnight, you can get 4% off your purchase orders with the discount code OmniBrosLive. All one word, and it's not case sensitive, but I'm going to copy and paste it just in case.
Omnibros is the code. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling everybody. OmniBrosLive is the code starting tomorrow at midnight. So here you go, guys. I just pasted it on the chat. And so if anybody misses it at the beginning of the episode, I'm going to mention it again at the end of the episode. So again, the code is OmniBrosLive, good for 4% off for 1 week starting tomorrow at midnight. You guys have fun. There's a lot of cool books coming out next week that I'm looking forward to using that code on. So thanks a lot to InStockTrades for this awesome, awesome discount code to show our viewers how much we love them and how much they mean to us. So that was really cool. They didn't have to do that, but that's really awesome. So tell everybody you know, OmniBrosLive, all one word, not case sensitive. Now,
and it's not stackable, so it's just 4%. Even if you've got 2%, it's just 4%. And did you tell them about how it's going to look like 2% until they check out? Did you mention that already, or?
No, because I figured most of our viewers are pretty smart, but I just told you that.
Oh, you think I'm the dumb one?
I didn't say that. Yes, Jess is right. So you're not going to be able to see the 4% off as soon as you log in. If you have the loyalty discount, you'll see your standard 2% off. Until you put that code in, that's when you will see the 4% discount. And like I said, I'll mention it again at the end of the episode in case anybody missed it, and share it with everybody. We've been looking forward to this for a while now, so that's awesome. Now, Jess, this is your topic that you came up with, buddy. What are we talking about?
Yes, we're talking about female creators in the industry, in the comics industry. And see, Adonis Henriquez is saying exactly what I said. You should have kept us on edge when it came to the code. That's why I said we should have waited till the end.
That only keeping people on, like leading people on. Now the people that don't want to watch this damn show can get off.
Yeah, I know. We could have had 80 viewers holding on until the end of the show.
Where I guarantee there's going to be 80 people watch. Come on, we got Jess, OmniDog on here.
And
it's a guaranteed 80 views. All right. So what is the topic today, brother?
Today we're talking about female creators, and first of all, I am the first to say this is a lame topic, because that is ridiculous that we have to categorize writers into male, female. It should just be writers or an artist and colorists and letter and stuff like that. It should just be that. But still, even though it's 2018, women are still underrepresented in the industry. There are more women than ever writing and creating and drawing, but they're still underrepresented. And so I admit it's, really kind of lame to segregate them and say, who are your favorites? But that's the topic, because we ran out of topics. So that's the topic.
We didn't run out of topics. I gave you gold, and you were like, no, that's too sexist. I was like, all right, fine, then we'll do female creators. All right, no, when you say that, when you said that about like we shouldn't even think like that, it reminds me of being a kid. I just thought, these magical godlike beings created these comic books. I never thought of like black, white women, and I guess that's the way it should be. Exactly what you just said. However, when you go to conventions, or even on social media, you do see that women creators seem to be outnumbered, because it's still a male-driven industry. I mean, because it's mainly men that go and buy these books. I don't know exactly the percentage, but when I worked at a comic book store in the 90s, I mean, it was like one for every 80 maybe that a woman would walk in, without her boyfriend, or not trying to buy something for her kids.
Right.
Like, now, a lot of things have changed, mainly because of the manga boom in the late 90s, early aughts. So, all right, so let's get to it, man. Who is your first person that you got? First lady.
The first lady of my stack. I have a huge stack of books because now that I go into my collection, I'm happy to say there's lots of female representation. So one of the most recent books that I've read is by Kelly Thompson. It is the fabulous Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Really well written. I thought that this was at least as good as Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. This Kate Bishop was written with wit and style and a very interesting take on Kate Bishop. I think she handles her own comic very well. Kelly Thompson is an excellent writer, and I thought that this was an excellent step in the right direction for this character. Kelly Thompson has written some other stuff, which of course I can't think of right now, but this was the latest thing that I thought of, and I love Kate Bishop's, Kelly Thompson's Kate Bishop as Hawkeye. Kelly Thompson. There's my first book.
Really? Okay. I have not.
Really?
I haven't read that run. Honestly, I wasn't that big a fan of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye as much as everybody seems to be. I thought it was okay. So I hadn't even read, I believe Lemire took over Hawkeye afterwards.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet.
And I guess Kate Bishop's story was written by Kate Thompson. Is that right?
Kelly Thompson, yeah. Kelly Thompson, yeah.
Sorry, I'm writing this thing here. Okay, so for my first take, I don't think the state of Vertigo would be where it is now or where it once was without, the editor of these books right here. And because I couldn't pick one, I was like, which one should I go with? Because, you got Sandman, you got Hellblazer, you got all these books that I could have picked from Vertigo, and I'm talking about Karen Berger.
Yeah.
Right?
Good choice. Very good choice.
Most people are like artists, writers, whatever, but she was the Vertigo, I think she was the Vertigo, if I'm not mistaken, the editor-in-chief of Vertigo imprint from the 90s. That's why I brought up Sandman and Death. Up until I think 2013, 2010, 15, something like that. Then I think now she is at Dark Horse, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody can correct me on that. But
I think Karen Berger, Dark Horse.
Without her, I don't think we would have had Neil Gaiman's not the big boom of Neil Gaiman books or Fables or Why the Last Man or things like that. Not without her. So I have a lot of my favorite books to thank her for.
Good choice. And those of you who are just joining the chat, We have a code for IST. We might as well just keep giving it throughout the chat.
Yep.
Discount code for IST starts. Oh, okay. Omar's putting it right up.
I'll take care of it. Just keep checking the chat every once in a while. I'll keep putting it, and then we'll mention it again at the end of the show, if that's cool.
There we go. Omar's putting it right in the chat because he's tech savvy like that.
You mean copy and paste? Yeah, I'm.
I would have just gone type. Oops, I got the hiccups. Sorry. While I have the hiccups, why don't you talk so I can get rid of the hiccups?
Oh, I was gonna say. So Lloyd Wong is saying that she is overseeing her Berger book line at Dark Horse. So, well, and then Psycho Cleveland said Karen Berger's at IDW. So, son of a bitch. None of these.
I thought she was a Dark Horse with Burger books.
I did
books.
So I don't know if Psycho Cleveland is messing with us, but let's see. So my next person I chose, since you've got the hiccups, is one that's kind of hit and miss with people, but mainly because of the whole Nightwing storyline that she wrote. I chose Devin Grayson. I really taking after Chuck Dixon is a really hard chore to do because like he was such a prominent part of Batman, like not just Batman but the Bat family. He wrote, I mean, he was writing Birds of Prey, Nightwing, Robin, you know, Batman, like ever since, you know, I mean, right before Nightfall. And so it was a huge, like there's some huge shoes to fill, and she came in and she did a pretty good job. I agree with what everybody else thinks. The whole thing when Nightwing, the whole death of Blockbuster, and sleeping with Tarantula right afterwards, that was a little out of character. But other than that, I thought it was really cool the way that she wrote like the mobsters and stuff in the Nightwing story. So yeah, Devin Grayson, I really dig her stuff.
Awesome. Okay, the hiccups have left me. So my next book is the controversial and fabulously written, and one of my best books of last year. That would be Chelsea Cain's Mockingbird. I have, with the famous cover, asked me about my feminist agenda. This is the exact shirt that Fangirl wore to AwesomeCon with me. And I loved this comic with every fiber of my being. It was just fun, snappy dialogue for Mockingbird. They cut it short, and it only ran, I don't know, 8 issues or something. Something like that. Unfortunately, it got cut short.
Yeah, they cut it short. I think it was canceled. It was one of those Marvel books that were trying out, and they cut it at, I think, 8.
Yeah, at 8. And then this book has some filler from New Avengers. But this super sharp, snappy, witty dialogue. I could read this any day of the week and be happy. This book really just made me smile. I loved everything about it because it made me interested in Bobby Morse again, where I can't say that I found her the most compelling character, but this really made me interested in her and wanting to know more about her. And the resulting ensuing uproar over this cover and Chelsea Cain's writing over the internet, I hope she still wants to write comics, because the treatment she got was way out of hand, completely ridiculous, unfounded, unnecessary. She's a great writer. This was a great book, and I hope that she will come back and write more comics, because this was a sharp book that I really dug.
I can't comment on that because I have not read it.
Well, since you're a fan of smart comics, you'd like this book.
Now, hear me out. Is the hate that book got due to the fact that a lot of people weren't happy with the way that she wrote Mockingbird, or is it because, or do you think it was because of how forward she was with her agenda, I guess?
The agenda thing never really even comes up. I don't see anything but a strong female protagonist in this book. Mm-hmm. There's nothing about, actually, that's what's funny about this cover. There's really nothing in there about a feminist agenda or anything. All we get is a smart smartly written character that with a lot of witty dialogue. I don't think any of the I think the criticism was from people who just looked at this and assumed, oh, it's some feminazi written book or something. I don't know. I actually didn't participate in any of the.
Do you think the internet would have blown up if it was a male writer that had written that and he had the character wear that shirt?
Oh, our computers wouldn't be working right now. They would have overloaded. They would have just, everyone would have knocked Coke over onto their laptops with giant editions of Mockingbird. Yeah. It's, yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I can't comment. I have not read it. I know very little of it. So I did enjoy the Hawkeye Mockingbird miniseries, but I don't think that was her that wrote that. So moving on, Cycle Cleveland will probably correct me on this, because that's what he does.
You're right.
So I chose Anacenti as my next female writer. I really like her Daredevil, much like Devin Grayson's Nightwing, was one of those either love it or hate it books. But her Long Shot was so badass. Well, to me.
I have that book. That's a good book.
Oh yeah, look at that awesome artwork by Arthur freaking Adams, blowing it out of the water. And the writing was really cool. I thought the character was really interesting, you know, coming from a world that is just made up of movies and things like that and appearing here on Earth. So, you know, it's your stereotypical, like, oh no, I'm out of my own element, I'm out of my world. And then at the time, she was the editor of X-Men comics. So Chris Claremont, hey, guess who you get to add on X-Men in your roster? So as of Annual 10, Longshot joined the team. And Annual 10 was also drawn by Arthur Adams. But yeah, I really enjoyed this story. I think it's a great standalone story. It's not confusing, and you get beautiful artwork by Arthur Adams. I like the way that she writes Mojo. He's not one of my favorite X-villains now because he's been overused. And
that's my first exposure to Mojo, that book.
Yeah, well, that was
my first and only exposure.
That's his first appearance. Oh, yeah, he gets overly annoying the more he appears. And then you've got, you know, her run on Daredevil, which some people hated and some people really thought was great. I thought it was a good run. I thought it was solid.
Did she create Typhoid Mary?
Yeah. Her and John Romita Jr. Yeah. And it's weird because, like, the way that Bendis wrote Typhoid Mary was so different than this. Like, I think that was the very first time I was like, man, I don't think this guy knows some of these characters that he's writing, and he's kind of doing his own thing. And then I saw a pattern that maybe that's why I didn't like Bendis that much. But yeah, this is not a Bendis bashing episode. So what's next?
We don't need to say what the bet was, but Gabe Infinity Watch is in the chat asking if he won the bet. As a matter of fact, he did in fact win the bet. You did win, Gabe Infinity Watch. When I'm in Vegas, I owe you your first lap dance. I'm not performing it, but I will pay for it. So, Gabe, you're winner. I'm a loser. So, speaking of people who are not losers, the lovely and talented and super nice Colleen Doran, I met at AwesomeCon. She could not have been nicer. This list is going to skew. She's an artist, and this list, and also a writer for A Distant Soil, which was a great book back in the 90s. And could be going on still. I don't know. I stopped in.
I've been wanting to pick that up.
Yeah, I read that back in the 90s, but she's a really great artist, a really good writer. She can do it all. She's been very sick, I think.
Oh, no.
And she's still managing to create through it. Yeah, Fangirl was telling me about it. This is a new book that I bought from her that she did with Neil Gaiman. It's a brand new book called Troll Bridge that she's doing with Neil Gaiman. So you guys need to go out there. It's a Dark Horse book. And let's see what it's about, because I haven't read it yet. It's brand new. When Jack was a young boy, his world was full of ghosts and ghouls. Well, one such monster, a ravenous and hideous troll, would haunt him long into manhood. As the beast sups upon a lifetime of Jack's fear and regret, Jack must find the courage within himself to face the fiend once and for all. That sounds like one of my old girlfriends. Sups on the cup of my fear and regret. So this is, oh, frick. It's got a big anti-theft sticker right in the middle of it. What the hell, Colleen? I'm gonna complain. Or
She
maybe
sold
that.
she sold you that book?
Yes, she did. It came from her stack. She couldn't
Oh,
have known.
maybe she stole it, dude.
She sold a big stack of these. She got a pallet of these books, but she is. She also did the art in Ocean Orbiter. I had her sign that too, the Warren Ellis book, and she said Warren Ellis is a very interesting guy to work with. Um, so blah, 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 blah. She's great. I really like Colleen Doran. She's been around for a long time, still a young woman, but she is well respected in the industry, and I can see why. She's one of those people that I hate because she's a talented writer and artist, and those people piss me off. I have a stack of people who piss me off in this, as a matter of fact, women who can write and draw. That's really unfair to those of us who can do neither. And that's me.
Man, you are really hard on yourself. Okay. So my next person I chose, I happen to really, really like her art, is Fiona Staples.
Mm.
And she is the lead artist in Saga. She also worked, was it with Mark Waid on that Archie book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great art on that.
Right. And let me see if I can find just one of the covers. I can't remember if the covers are on the inside or in the front or the back. But the cool thing about Fiona is that there's I love that cover. Is that she also does her own colors. So it's not just, pencils and ink. She kind of does everything, with the exception of the lettering. You've read this, right, Jess?
Yeah, I have. It's beautiful. She's a fabulous artist and a great colorist too. Apparently, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm
a big fan of this book. I love Saga, but I love most. I can't say most. All Brian K. Vaughan.
Mm-hmm.
I have loved everything he has written. Even his Ultimate X-Men books. So yeah, I'm a big fan of her art, and I think it really suits the book. This is one of my favorite books that is currently coming out. It has slowed down a little bit, the pacing of the book, but I think it's still one of the best comics put out these days.
I agree. Some people say that it's sagging, but I haven't found that. It has held my interest. I have the 2 hardcover collections. I haven't been reading it in floppies, so I just have the first 2 big books, and it held my interest solidly throughout both of them. I think it's a great world they've both created. Yeah, good choice.
Yeah. So what's your next one, man?
The next one is someone who did indie comics for a long time and finally got a break with the big 2. I met her at Baltimore last year. She was very nice, and I hope she gets more of a line this year. She was kind of by herself, but I got her to sign. Here it is. Oh, she put a heart by her signature. That would be Hope Larson. She's got her big break and is writing Batgirl for Rebirth, which is a fun book. And look, she put a little heart next to her name, ooh, which means nothing. But she's a good writer, and I like her a lot. And Batgirl's kind of a tricky character to write well. There's lots of fanboys and girls that like their Batgirl a particular way. And this is, I really enjoyed this Rebirth book. I think it's sharply written. I think she's done a good job at taking her break with a big 2 and doing a really good job with it. This Batgirl's very interesting, very fun, and I look forward to keep reading it. This is one of the few books that I buy in paperback. Usually I wait for the deluxe, although I don't know if there's going to be a deluxe. But she's going to be at Baltimore again this year, so I'll chat with her then and tell her how great I think she is, because I think Hope Larson's an up-and-coming writer that will, 5 years from now, be one of the bigger names. That's my prediction.
Do you think that she will remember the heart that she drew on your book?
I do not. I don't think she'll remember me at all. I think she forgot about me the minute I left.
Wow. Okay, you are being so hard on yourself. Okay.
I'm being realistic. So there was 1,000 people there. So
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Jillian and Mariko Tamaki.
Oh,
They did one of
nice.
my favorite books I read last year. My wife bought me this for Christmas, and I absolutely loved this one, Summer. I believe Jillian is the writer, and then Mariko, no, maybe Mariko's the writer. I'm sorry, and Jillian is the artist. Now, one of them is working on She-Hulk, but I have not read that yet, so I don't know if it's any good or not. Um, have you read this, Jess?
I have not. I have it and I haven't read it, and you've
Oh,
been raving about it a
it's a
lot.
it's a quick read. It's a good book. It's a coming of age of, and the thing about this book is that I have nothing in common with these characters other than, I'm a human being, because it's a coming of age of two girls, like in they're in high school, and they go through all these problems. But I have two daughters, so I don't look forward to these years where it's about boys and
Oh
things like
boy.
that.
Yeah, I remember that when my daughter came of
Yeah,
age.
yeah, not looking forward to that. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good book. Um, All right, man. So who's next on your list?
Um, I will pull it out, the book, that is, because they're talking about her in the chat. She is another person I dislike because not only is she a fabulous artist, I know I like her. I'm just playing that up. She's not only a fabulous artist, she's a great writer. She's killing it in this book, and she's got Catwoman coming up that everybody's excited about. That is the fabulously talented Joelle Jones, who did Lady Killer, which is a great book from Dark Horse. Really enjoyed this entire run. She's just a great artist. Anybody with an alliterative name, Joelle Jones, is immediately going to pop up in on my radar, and she can bring it. I am looking forward to her Catwoman. I think it's going to be a great run. I don't know if she's handling the art on Catwoman 2. I know she's the writer, but this Lady Killer is the bomb, as the young people say, or said 10 years ago. This is a really well-written book about a woman who is a soccer mom by day and an assassin at night, and she does a great job writing this character, which is a really good read. And I have to find the first paperback because for some reason I have only the second one in my stack, in my stacks. So I'm missing another first book that I'm going to be talking about. I have no idea why I'm telling you this, but this book, Lady Killer, is really good. And Joelle Jones, top-notch writer and artist. If you haven't read Lady Killer, you need to read it. And if you haven't been excited for Catwoman, you should be excited for it. This woman can bring it. She's great.
I haven't read that, but I really, really like her. Did she do Catwoman in a wedding dress? Was that her that did that? Or it was some kind of nightgown, maybe? It looks really pretty. Like, her artwork looks awesome.
Yeah, she's a great artist and great writer. I mean, I just love this book and I love her art. So I don't know if she's going to be at Baltimore or not. If she is, I'd love to talk to her. She's just great.
So my next choice is an artist. She started off at Tokyo Pop. She's from China, but she started doing like some American comics for Tokyo Pop. But it's not what got her recognition. What got her recognition is when Marvel started this line called the Tsunami line, which is where they were like, "Oh, we need to cash in on this manga stuff." And unfortunately, like, that's where Venom started, like Mystique and all that. And then, but the big one was Runaways. And she was the one that was doing the covers. And this lady's name is Jo Chen. I absolutely think Jo Chen is an awesome, awesome cover artist. Like she doesn't really do much inside work because mainly what she does is covers. Because much like Jeffrey Scott Campbell or all these other cover artists, if they pay you enough, you don't need to draw comics for a living. You can just draw covers. So she did that, and then she did a lot of cover art for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 6, the Joss Whedon stuff, or no, I'm sorry, season 8. But then she did a lot of the Street Fighter stuff too, Street Fighter covers. I think she is a phenomenal artist. That where's more? stuff by her that I wish she was working on a monthly book because I love her cover art. But yeah, Joe Chen.
Really beautiful. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, you did you not read the Buffy stuff? Kind of figured.
And I haven't read Runaways yet either.
Oh, huh. Well, they're coming out with a Omni of that, you know.
I know, but I'm gonna. For some reason, I really like my OHCs of that, and I'm gonna stick with those.
All right.
I'm kind of like that.
All right, sissy boy. Can't lift an Omni.
Speaking of can't lift an Omni, I got an Omni right here.
All right, who are we talking about here?
We're talking about the fabulously talented writer and artist Amanda Connor for Harley Quinn. She wrote this with her husband, Jimmy Palmiotti, and she also did covers besides doing the writing. She draws Harley like I want Harley to be drawn. She just, I love her art so much. And I did not get a chance to talk to her at Baltimore last year because there was a mile-long line for them. And I say good for them. They deserve it. I'm really happy that they are finding success. I love Jimmy Palmiotti's writing. I love Amanda Connor's art and writing. And I also have a signed poster that I need to get up on my wall. Right here, a print that I got signed by her. I don't even remember where I got this, but I got it sometime, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And it's the cover to one of the, I think maybe the 0 issue to Harley Quinn variant, something like that. But Amanda Connor, super talented. And I love her run on Harley Quinn. She and Jimmy Palmiotti made me fall in love with Harley Quinn. This is the run that did it for me, the New 52 run. And they continued to write a really, really good Harley Quinn in Rebirth. And they're the ones that made me develop a crush on Harley Quinn. So I just, my heart goes out to them. I love them. Big kiss to Amanda Connor. She made me fall in love with Harley Quinn. And we all know how much I love Harley Quinn. So that's it. That's my choice, Amanda Connor. And I can put my watch back on because I lost the bet.
I was hoping you would show the Pro. I was trying to find my copy of the
I know right where that is. You want me to get it?
Oh, I love her. That was my first taste of Amanda Connor.
Yeah, let me get it. Just a sec.
And out of context. Yeah, it's one of the most raunchiest books. I remember coming back into comics, and that was one that my friend gave me. He's like, oh, you got to read the Pro. So pretty much as a hooker who... Oh, you have the hardcover edition. That's awesome. I have the the trade paperback somewhere. Is that oversized, the hardcover?
Yeah, I have an oversized Pro written by
nice.
Garth Ennis. I have to be careful what I can show here. Yep, can't show that. Oh, and this is signed by them.
You don't even remember what you have signed?
No. I don't even remember getting this signed. Let's see. Can I show you this? Yeah. I can show you this. It's a little dark, but it's really good. It's about a super-powered prostitute, and it's very funny. Very well written, very well drawn. It's a top book. Let's see. I can show you this. But it's available in about 45 different flavors. There seem to be 3 or 4 oversized hardcovers that are out of print. There seem to be some trade paperbacks that are out of print, but I know that there's a regular trade that's in print. This is just a fast and furious, funny take on superheroes and prostitutes and everything in life. This was a good recommendation by Omar, the Pro. If you can find it, pick it up and get it signed, and try and remember that you get it signed. Because
I think my favorite scene is when she is blowing the Superman-like character, and he shoots a wad and it knocks off the wing of a plane. It's just that it's Garth Ennis. So if you know what
Garth Ennis, yeah,
so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, it's Garth Ennis, and I would love to find out what it was like working with him. Um, it's let me see, is this what's Palmiotti do on this? Inks. Okay, he inked her pencils.
I think
Really cool.
that's how they met too, through working together on a book. But I
Oh,
can't.
really?
I don't know if it was that one. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great if they met? Yeah, we met doing each other's artwork on the Pro, this completely R-rated book.
It's raunchy.
I
I love that book.
do too. It's fun.
So next up on my list is Wheezy, Louise Simonson.
Mm.
I could have pulled off Superman, Man of Steel, or um, New Mutants, but I went with X Factor because it's more accessible. Uh, I love her run on X Factor. I mean, she's the one that took away Angel's wings. She made him become Archangel. She introduced Apocalypse, even though at first he was more of a business kind of dude instead of a, this ancient mutant that has existed forever. Um, and on X Factor, she worked with her husband, Walter Simonson. But yeah, her X Factor run was so awesome. I loved it. I think she started with issue 3 or 4, and she went all the way up until Will Spertasio took over the book right before Peter David did. So probably 62, the Extinction Agenda was one of her last issues. But yeah, I absolutely love Louise Simonson. One of my favorite stories was in Man of Steel, right after the death of Superman, is when, Ma Kent is, she wants to break down, but she has to keep it together because Lois gives her a call. And she's like, no, I got to be strong for her, so she keeps from breaking down. I thought that was such an emotional moment. I thought it was really good. And you have met her. I have not met her. And I've heard she is a wonderful human being.
She and her husband were about the two sweetest people you can ever meet. They had a long line, but once Fangirl got to the line, they must have spent 10 minutes with her and I took a bunch of pictures and I talked. I wasn't going to stand in line I mean, at that point, it was near the end of the day and I was tired, so I wasn't going to stand an hour-long line for them. But I took a bunch of pictures, got involved in a conversation with them, and yeah, they are two of the nicest people you want to meet, Louise and Walt Simonson. She's, yeah, as you said, wrote Superman really well, but yeah, super sweet. Super nice. Really liked them both.
Did you call her Wheezy? Because I know everybody in the industry called her that.
I did not. Wheezy, what's up?
What's up, Wheezy?
What's up, my Wheezy?
Yeah, I love her stuff. I love her stuff in New Mutants. She wrote one of my favorite stories, which was Poor Dead Doug. I thought that was one of the best New Mutant stories ever. It was after, I think I've talked about it.
Yeah, you have. You told me about that. Yeah.
It's about Warlock, the alien, trying to understand the concept of death, and he tries to reanimate his dead friend. And everybody's like, Warlock, what the fuck are you doing, dude? But anyway, if anything, you should read that. You should read Poor Dead Doug, which I think is New Mutants 64, collected in the Fall of the Mutants hardcovers.
Fall of the Mutants hardcovers. Let's see. Do I have that? Yes, I do. Yeah. I have Fall of the Mutants.
It's in there or in the Classic 7, I think. But anyway, those are coming back into print in epic format. Who's next on your list? I know there's a name that we both have not talked about that I'm waiting for.
Okay, well, let's talk about her now, because that's the book I was going to talk about next. Maybe you have a different book. Yeah, we both really, really love this artist, and she just crushed. Artist.
Nope, I was talking about a writer. Who are you talking about? Okay,
I'm talking about Nicola Scott.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I want to talk about Gail Simone and Nicola Scott.
Oh, well, wait, let me get my... okay, I'll do Gail Simone after you do Gail Simone.
No, go ahead, Nicola Scott,
this is Black Magic, written by the famous and fabulous Greg Rucka. But her art in this book is typically great. This is kind of an odd color palette. But, I mean, look at this artwork. She does a fabulous Wonder Woman in Rebirth Wonder Woman also. Her art is just spellbinding in Wonder Woman. And Black Magic is coming out with volume 2 of a trade and then an oversized hardcover right on top of it. So I will be waiting and getting the oversized hardcover for Black Magic because I don't remember any of this book. I read it in the hospital when I was getting my knees replaced, and I remember liking it, but I barely remember any of my hospital stays. So I know I enjoyed this book, but all I really remember now is them's pretty pictures because I was all doped up. And Nicola Scott, I would love to get her signature on a book. This book is fabulous art, and as I said before, Rebirth Wonder Woman. Try and say that 3 times fast. Rebirth Wonder Woman. Rebirth Wonder Woman.
I don't think you can even do it once fast.
I can't. Rebirth Wonder Woman.
I
Really
cannot wait for that
hardcover.
hardcover. Cannot wait for that hardcover.
For Black Magic?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
I am very excited for that too.
So I came a big fan of Nicola Scott when she joined Gail Simone on Birds of Prey. And I had never heard of her, and Ed Benes was the artist with Gail Simone for a while, and he has a tendency to draw women very voluptuous and appealing to people like me. So Nicola Scott, you know, I think she's Australian, came in and took over the book, and I'm like, oh man, the women are gonna be like really skinny or whatever. But no, man, she killed it. I love her run on Bird Spray. This is her earliest work too. I mean, the clean lines that she uses, I think it's awesome. Now she has, you know, her artwork has evolved since then, but I became a Nicola Scott fan from day one. I love the way that she draws Huntress, and I love the way that she draws Oracle. By the time she was done with Birds of Prey, she was one of my favorite artists, and I followed her no matter where she went. That sounds a bit stockish. No, I did not follow you. I followed your art. Sorry about that. I don't even follow you on Twitter. Because I don't have Twitter. But anyway, yeah, this is some of her stuff. And how could we not talk about Birds of Prey without talking about the lovely Gail Simone?
Lovely and talented.
We on my channel we did an episode on women in refrigerators and how that's kind of the movement that she started and the website, and now, you know, she's one of the best writers in comic books, at least to me. I mean, she has tackled Deadpool, Batgirl is in Birds of Prey, some of my favorite books, Secret Six. Oh, I love that run. So I talked about Nicola Scott. Why don't you take it back to Gail Simone, and I'll finish off with what I really enjoyed.
Okay. Well, in my humble opinion, this is her best book ever.
All right.
Because it's also one of my favorite comics of recent times. I'm talking about Clean Room for Vertigo.
I haven't read that, dude.
Oh my gosh. The first 2 trades have some of the best art.
Who's the artist?
The artist is John Davis Hunt, who I was not familiar with before this. John Davis Hunt did the art, and it's got really great colors too. But this involves a kind of a cult leader with gosh, I don't. Let's see how I can explain. I'll just read the back. Astrid Mueller is a world.
That's how I used to do book reports. Continue
reading the back. Astrid Mueller is a world-famous horror novelist, a publicly, God, I'm having trouble tonight. Publicly reviled huckster, and the all-powerful leader of a secretive cult whose tentacles reach into every sphere of American life. She's also humanity's last hope. This book kills it. Gail Simone does an this book absolutely kills it. Her writing is so good in Clean Room. This was one of my favorite books last year. To me,
it's hard to top Secret Six, but
yeah, I know. But read Clean Room, and yeah, this is my challenge to you. Read Clean Room and see if you don't think it's her best work. I totally agree with you on Secret Six. I don't even want to challenge that as her greatest book, but I will say that this is, yeah, it really is. The first 2 books have this art. The third book rather goes with a different artist, and it's still Jiminy Cricket's still the same style. Not quite as interesting as the first, but still really good art. And Gail Simone just I just can't say enough about this book. It is such an interesting, well-written, well thought out book. I am really going to hurt myself talking tonight. I think I'm going to get I'm going to sprain my tongue the way I'm having trouble with words.
It's just Gail Simone, man. She makes you all gushy.
Yeah, I go nuts over Gail Simone. This clean room book is just super well thought out, well plotted, great story. I cannot say enough good things about Clean Room. Really, my
Okay.
opinion, her bestest and strongest.
Huh. Well, in my humble opinion, she has a lot of great books. Like I said, Birds
She
of
does.
Prey was amazing. I have not read Clean Room, so I don't know. Um, I didn't think I would like Batgirl as much as I enjoyed it because I love the character of Oracle, and I think it to me I was really upset about the way that they brought her back into being Batgirl because I thought it was really cool to have, somebody in a wheelchair to be this amazing character in the DC universe. But I really enjoyed her Batgirl, and her Wonder Woman was top notch. I love Deadpool, so she has a really good sense of humor. I just read Domino #1 that just came out this week, and it was solid. But my favorite run, I have to say, is Secret Six. I love Ostrander's Suicide Squad, and it's the same formula, right? Or Exiles, Marvel Exiles for that matter. I love the formula of these kind of villains that are just like, hey, you're gonna die. You want to you serve the good guys for a little while before you die. We'll shorten your sentence. And I think Secret Six was amazing in that aspect. I thought it was great. I thought it perfected that formula. And I'm glad those books are back in print. For a long time, they went out of print, and those books were worth a shit ton of money. So I'm surprised we don't have an Omni of that yet because we need one. We don't have any Omnis with Gail's name on it. So, and I'm glad to see her back at Marvel too, because I remember for a while she swore up and down she wouldn't go back to Marvel because those guys are like a frat house. That's the way she. That's the way she described working at Marvel. So I would love to have another Secret Six books with her coming back. So I think that would be great to DC.
Here's a good question. Shorty Larson asks, curious, what was Omar's pick for topic? Should we have a poll? Omar, what was we can tell him what we originally were gonna do.
What? Well, there were a lot of things in there that is considered sexist.
What?
I
No.
suggested doing.
No, you said
you're like, no, favorite
Omar's pick
female
for topic?
writer.
No, the first thing we were gonna do was all ages comics.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We were talking about that earlier this afternoon, and
yeah, there's nothing sexist in what I said. I said what was our original topic.
Oh no, I had other ideas. I kept yelling at you, and you were like, "No, we're not doing that." I'm like, "All right, fine. We'll do female writers. That's just as good."
Yeah, his pick was all ages. We were talking about and going to do all ages books, but Comics Guide 101 said sounds familiar, and I believe we have done that within the past few months. We've already done all ages. I feel almost certain. So that's why we decided to table that. Maybe we'll do that in another few months, but I feel almost certain that was a topic we'd already covered. Gio, you're not too late for the announcement. We're not giving out free root beer, although that would be great. Gio already got me free root beer when he had a sponsor send me Boylan root beer. But we already announced the 4% discount code, and we'll keep announcing it throughout the show.
Yeah, I'll keep copying and pasting what I wrote. So, I mean, to me, Gail Simone just topped it off. I thought it was, I think that she is the top. If we're gonna say female, then she's one of my top favorite creators. But I guess yes, top female writers in the industry right now. I absolutely love every book that she's in. Much like I like Brian K. Vaughan,
Right. Totally agree. Yeah, Gail Simone rocks it almost all the time. I was just blown away by Clean Room, but you're right about Secret Six. That's a great book. Cycle Cleveland wants to know what the bet was. I don't know that we need to tell you what the bet was. Just know that I lost it, and that Gabe gets a free lap dance, not from me, but when I visit him in Vegas. He crushed me in the bet. It didn't even come close to winning that bet. I was totally, absolutely in the wrong. So I don't have a problem admitting it. And actually, it's a good thing I lost the bet. I'm glad. I'm glad I lost the bet. You need to tell us the better. You shouldn't have brought it up. Well, just know that I'm a loser in the bet. It's okay. Let's see. My next book that I'm going to wait, or is it your turn?
Nope, it's all you, sir.
Okay, the next book I'm going to stumble over and hurt myself talking about is a writer that writes what she knows, and she is a great writer because I love the two books I'm going to talk about. She is a lesbian, and all her comics seem to be about lesbians, and so why not? She knows what she knows. She writes what she knows, and that would be Marguerite Bennett, who is writing Bombshells, which is really fun and based on the Aunt Lucia covers that became a cottage industry for DC. This is a fun Elseworlds take on World War II as fought by the Bombshells, and it features just about all the Bombshells, including Joker's daughter. And I was kind of questioning whether or not I was going to get Joker's daughter, the Bombshell statue. So I am going to be thinking about whether I should get that. I'm definitely getting the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern Bombshell. But Marguerite Bennett has all these characters making out with each other all the time, and it's just really fun and funny.
I wonder why you like it. It's a really deep story, huh?
I'm just saying it's different. It's really different for a big two book to feature same-sex making out as frequently as it does. Now,
were you also a big fan of when North Star was hooking up with that guy in Astonishing X-Men?
I did not read that. I fully support it, but I haven't read it yet. I fully support it, though. It doesn't bother me a bit. God damn you.
You old perv.
Yeah, I am 100% supporter of whatever you want to do is cool with me. As long as it doesn't cost me any money. So this book is really fun. It's a fun, different take on Elseworld stuff, but where she really shines is her own book for Aftershock Comics, where she is the writer. This, as far as I can tell, it's all female all the time. Writer, artist, editor, colorist, everything in this book. It looks like there's a ton of female artists and a ton of female colorists in Bombshells. So good. I liked it. It's all girl power all the time.
Are you going to be upgrading to the hardcover deluxes that are coming out?
This is a book I'm probably triple dipping on because not only I might be quadruple dipping on this book. I have it in floppies, trade paperback, and digitally, so I can read it on the road. And I'll probably upgrade. I love this book. It's frosting on the cake. It's not, it's not super deep, but it is a fun romp. This book is way deep because it contains, not only does it contain a great story, but the introduction by her is about, this book is called Insects, and it's considered erotic body horror. And here she is with her introduction, and it is the most powerful forward I have ever read about women and body horror and what they have to go through every day living with body horror. I wrote Insects because I'm a woman, and to be a woman is to live a life of body horror. This is a book about two women who fall in love, and they can turn into these creatures, these insects. Let me see if I can get a good picture of it. It's kind of steampunky, Victorian England steampunk-ish type of thing. Whoops, I can't show you that. It's pretty graphic. Where can I find it? They can turn into these insects, and they...
Are there any pictures from the book that you can show us? There we go.
Yeah, I don't know. Not too many. Here I can show you some. She's turning into...
Good choice.
I can. There's a lot of stuff I can't show, but there is some stuff that I can show. It's got really great art. They are two women who have a child back in like Victorian steampunk era England, and they can turn into these insects, and they do battle with their enemies. And it is just a really fun, powerful, interesting book that she's written. This is coming out. I'm going to give these copies to Fangirl because it's coming out in a hardcover that here you can see she's turned into this creature with a bunch of legs coming out of her back like Iron Spider. But this is coming out in hardcover, so I'm going to give these ones. I'm going to give these ones away to Fangirl because I think she'd really enjoy it. But Marguerite Bennett knows how to write an interesting comic, and I really love Insects, the book. It's one of the best things Aftershock has put out. No, I can't show you that. I can show you this. I can show you the violence, but not the sexy stuff. But I thoroughly enjoy Marguerite Bennett's writing, and she is you got to read that introduction, Omar. It's one of the most powerful things. As a father of 2 daughters, you should definitely read that introduction and what it means to be a woman in her opinion, because it's one of the most powerful things I've ever read in prose or comics about what it's like to be a woman. It is, it's an eye-opener. And so I highly recommend Insects from Aftershock Comics, and I highly recommend Marguerite Bennett. She is the real thing. I dig her a lot. I will read anything she writes.
Okay. Oh. Didn't know we were going to end it on a bombshell.
We're ending it?
I'm just kidding. That's all I had, man.
Oh, I got 2 more books.
I was going to say Joe Duffy, but I couldn't find my Fallen Angels. But who did you have? Like, have you read Gio brought her up, Monstrous Marjorie
Lou?
Okay.
That was one of the ones I was going to show. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Get to it.
This has not only a fabulous female writer, but a really fabulous female artist. Monstrous is the book. Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. Everybody knows about Monstrous. This is not necessarily an underappreciated gem. I think this is probably one of the more well-known kind of books from Image. It seems to be a critical and fan favorite. So I'm not really surprising anybody with my pick on this. Just to say that it's a great book. It's got an awful lot of plot lines going through it that she ties together at certain points in the story. So you can't, this is not something you can be like me and doped up in the hospital and try to read. You really have to concentrate and reread this thing. This woman basically has a monster growing within her, the kind of Jekyll and Hyde type thing, the monster that grows within her. And it's got sentient cats and intelligent little cat people. It also is a little bit steampunky, which I like. It's got everything you want in a book because it's got solid writing, really great art, and just a really well thought out book. I love this whole book, but as I say, it does have an awful lot of plot lines going through it, so you really have to concentrate, and you don't have to keep notes, but you do have to pay attention to it because it she does a good job of interweaving all these various things that are going on in it, and highly recommend Monstrous. This was one of the best books that has come out in the past couple of years. Great art, great writing, Monstrous. And I believe Marjorie Liu, that name sounds familiar. Is that the X-23 writer?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of her run in X-23, but I did dig Monstrous. I'm not sure what. I don't own. I own them digitally. I don't own the trades, so I'm waiting for a hardcover because it's still ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah, the story. This is book 2, and I do not believe the story is finished.
No, it's
to be continued. Yeah. So, yeah, Marjorie Liu is. Let's see. It says she also wrote Black Widow, Dark Wolverine, and Astonishing X-Men.
Oh, that's right. She wrote Dark Wolverine. Also, did not like that run. And I think I gave up on Astonishing X-Men after long before she came around. She's the one that had she's the one I was talking about that did the North Star and
Oh.
the big wedding, that astonishing run.
Well, it looks like she also writes what she knows about. She teaches a course on comic book writing at MIT. How about that? And lives in
Wow,
Cambridge.
she's a smart lady.
She sure is. Author of over 17 novels. Yikes. So
I'm hoping Monstrous gets a hardcover. So
yeah, I am
waiting.
too. I'd love to, and I want it to be big because I want to see this art on big pages, big fabulous pages. And
All right, so
I have one more. Hey, don't rush me, man.
No, I was about to ask you who is your last pick as far as creators.
My personal favorite, because I met her in person and spent time with her, and she was just a sweetheart to me and Fangirl at AwesomeCon. That would be Leila Del Duca, the artist for Shutter, which is 5 trades from Image. And I was reading this in floppies, and I did not get around to collecting it in trades, so I got all 5 from her at AwesomeCon, where she was the nicest person. She spent probably 10 or 15 minutes with us and answering all our questions, and she couldn't have been nicer, and was talking all about Image Comics, and she wrote her own book that has gotten a lot of praise, I think, from within the group and within the industry, which I can't think of the name of it, but maybe in the chat they know. Leila Del Duca, I like her art a lot, and it's very interesting, and she brought Shutter to life. Shutter's kind of an Elseworlds other, what am I trying to think of? A different Earth type of Indiana Jones female explorer that explores all kinds of amazing and interesting, fantastic things. And her art is really killer. I just dig it. And of course, I liked it before, but then she turned out to be such a nice person that then, of course, I like it even more now, which shows how easy it is to sway me. Just be nice to me, and I'll love your work even more. I'm a bit of a sucker for meeting nice people, and which makes me leery of meeting everybody, because what if I like a writer or artist and they turn out to be not the nicest person? Then I'm not going to like their book. So that is that's a problem I have, man. I got to deal with it. That's it. That's all.
I'm done. I can talk. I was waiting for you to get done because you earlier you made me shut up. So I didn't want to interrupt.
You have the floor, my man. You have the floor.
Thanks. There's lots of other ladies that I just don't have examples right in front of me right now. I'm surprised you didn't mention Rachel Dotson. I thought that you were a big Terry Dotson fan.
I am.
And she's the big inker on his work. And then I really like Laura Allred, her colors.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
She usually works with Mike, her husband. But yeah, her use of colors are amazing. So yeah, that's it. That's all I was gonna add. I know Psycho Cleveland's probably going crazy. How dare we miss somebody, right? Like I'm sure he usually pretty much goes crazy a lot though. But that is it as far as the books that collected editions that female writers and
yeah, I'm sure we left off some people, and these are only our own opinions, but I'm sure
like
some people.
I totally left out the ladies that work on Miss Marvel right now. But I just I've only read the first couple issues, so I don't think I could do their stuff justice. So you want to take some questions, and need I remind everybody else, in case you're just now joining, about the awesome 4% off discount code? Sarah Pacelli, damn it, Lloyd Wong, thank you. I knew I left someone out. I love her artwork. She has a very anime-ish art in Ultimate Spider-Man, and she's the one No, that's La Fuente. That guy sucks. Uh, where? Oh no, she didn't do it until much later, until Miles Morales. Yeah, but I love her stuff. And we talked about Karen Berger earlier. Um, where the hell was I? Oh yeah, the InStockTrades code. So in case you're just now joining, we do have the code. It's OmniBrosLive. It starts tomorrow at midnight, and it is good for a week. And it's 4% off your total order. It does not stack with the loyalty discount of 2%, but of course, who wants to use 2% instead of 4%? And it is good for a week from Friday, April 13th to Friday, April 20th. Sale starts at midnight. OmniBrosLive is the code. It's not case sensitive. So tell your friends, tell your family, whatever. Go enjoy. It's finally here. The code is here. And I believe they're going to give us another code. Not the same code this quarter sometimes what they mentioned. We don't know for sure. But for right now, it's 4% off. So go.
Now, and it's not stackable.
Yes, I thought I covered that.
You may have, but I wasn't paying attention. So
you don't pay attention to me. I don't pay attention to anything that you suggested reading either.
I listen to everything you say.
No, I'm not Luis. I love when Luis was like, "Yeah, man, 11 o'clock comics suggested reading this book, God Country." I can't remember what book it was, and you went the fuck off. You were like, "Dude, I've been telling you to read that for months."
I think it was Black Hammer.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was.
That really pissed me off. Yeah, I've been telling you.
You literally dropped the F. You were like, "Fuck 11 o'clock comics."
Yeah, that bummed me out. Not for real, but I had fun going off on him.
Oh yeah, I love to see you go off. It's out of character.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, codes, and then we talked about female creators. You want to take this to the chat for some questions?
Sure.
Call it a night, my man. All right.
Okay, good. Sounds good.
Did you like Sue? What is her name? The lady that wrote Captain Marvel.
Kelly Sue DeConnick?
Yeah, did you like that run?
Yeah, and I know I seem to be in the minority. That was my first exposure really to Captain Marvel, and I enjoyed it. That was my first read of any Captain Marvel, actually, and I liked it. But I'm getting the kind of undercurrent of dissatisfaction with that run from a lot of people.
Yeah. I didn't like it. That's why I was wondering if you did too.
I did like it. So, but I had nothing to base it on. Maybe if you've read old Captain Marvel or Captain Marvel coming right up to it, you have a different opinion. But it was my first exposure to the character. I liked it, and I haven't read Bitch Planet yet, although I do have it. That's supposed to be a better book. Oh yeah, Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly's great by her. I really loved Pretty Deadly.
I think Peter M likes that book too.
I really liked it.
Somebody was asking about Black Science. Have you read that?
I read the first 2 trades of it. I have two big Herkin books of it now that I haven't read, but I love the first 2 trades that I read.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. If it's got Remender's name on it, I'm probably going to pick it up. This is the first printing. I think the newer printing comes out. Is it this month or next month? I can't remember. They're reprinting this book because of the bad binding issues this book apparently had. So, I don't know. I read it and it was, reminds me maybe of the old DC, the way they used to do their little mousetrap printings. But that was the only problem I had. But yeah, I really like this book. Like I said, if it's got Remender attached to it, I will fucking pick it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way.
He's a big science fiction. You know what this book kind of reminds me of? Those EC comics. A lot of those sci-fi EC books, like the science. What the hell was it called? Science tells Weird Science, something like that. Anyway.
Weird Science. Yeah, I'm looking right at a copy of Weird Science. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's not called Weird Science. That's the movie from the 80s. John Hughes. I love that movie. Anyway, Remender.
Weird awesome. Science.
Pick it up. Pick it up. Let's see. Have you read A-Force? I have not read A-Force.
I have not either. Trigonosis recommended it to me. Oh, no, wait. I have read A-Force. I was thinking of a different book. It was an Avengers book that he recommended that I haven't read yet. But yeah, I loved A-Force. I read it last year. I did
Okay.
like it. Yeah. I was thinking of a different book that Trigonosis recommended to me. Yeah, A-Force is great.
There's a question in there. It says, Jess Omar, how do you plan to spend your 4%? Picking up the Hell on Earth Volume 2, some manga that I've missed, and a couple of image books. So I'm trying to think of what books I was missing. So
There's some. I think
next week is the Abe Sapien book. And if you haven't picked it up, Legion Quest, I think that's a pretty cheap book. It's like
that was this week.
Yeah, but it's still $37.50 tomorrow, baby. Throw in that 4%.
Oh, good point. There's another book that comes out Tuesday. I can't think of what it was. It's an Omni. It's a shoot. We've been waiting. Oh, Gotham City Sirens.
That's it.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
the
going to
other
use
book.
it on.
But I've got that pre-ordered already, so I'll be using it on BPRD Hell on Earth. So excited.
Volume 2 of that comes out Tuesday.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, that's a biggie.
Very excited about that. That's definitely some of the stuff that I'm going to be getting 4%.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to be getting Gotham City Sirens and BPRD Hell on Earth 2. Yeah, no, go ahead and ask.
Sorry, there was a question in here. Which origin I like better? It's Samuel von Kloxenberg.
Oh, yeah.
Omar, what Splinter version do you like better? Which origin do you like better? So he's asking if I like Splinter as Hamato Yoshi's pet, the rat, or do I like Splinter as Hamato Yoshi himself? I really love the new IDW origin. I think it's really cool. He's a reincarnation of Hamato Yoshi. After him and his sons get executed by Shredder, they are reborn. And it kind of gets explained with a little bit of science thrown in a little bit later. I love that origin. I think it's great. So yes, I like the idea of Hamato Yoshi reincarnated, or him being a mutated Hamato Yoshi instead of a rat that trained in the sewers. I always thought.
And this would be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book?
This is not Transformers. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Good guess. That's the next trivia game we should play. Make you guess what book we're fucking talking about.
That is a good game.
I'll name off characters like Ironhide, Jazz, Thundercracker. You're gonna be like, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Wrong. You suck. Anyway, yes, we should play a game like that.
We should just have a game where you play yourself. That was great right there.
Oh, I talk to myself all the time, man. Somebody was asking about this. You should buy it. This is awesome. Why don't they reprint this damn book?
Yeah, I like that. I like Sin City a lot.
Well, they were asking about if I had to go back, I would have loved to have bought the library editions because it is a big damn book. I mean, that's why it's called Big Damn Sin City. But yeah, this is awesome. This was $100 when it came out, and it's the complete thing. So it's a great book. If you got a chance to buy it, do it, because if you have not read Sin City, this is probably the cheapest way to do it. I mean, unless you get the trades, but you don't have the oversized artwork, and this is really, Frank Miller at his best.
I agree.
Yeah. So yes, I can't remember who was asking that question, but yeah, it's great.
Kal-El313 asks if I read Insects. Yeah, if you go back about 15 minutes from here, 10 minutes previous, I talked extensively about Insects. So yes, excellent question, excellent book, Kal-El313. Just scroll back a little bit in the video and you'll find it.
So Travis Gilmer says Black Science remastered version comes out the 15th of May. Thank you, Travis. I knew it was either this month or next, but I couldn't remember.
Let's see. Here was a question I thought, since we both have kids. Let's see. What will happen to your comics collection after you die? Will you give it to your kids? How would you react if your kids have no intention of keeping them and decide to sell your entire collection?
I will haunt their asses if they sell my shit. I think about that. I know you and I have talked about this because I think we're probably the two oldest members in OmniBros. So we talk about joining AARP and all that. Like, what are you gonna do with your shit when you're gone? Like, doesn't matter, right? So
I guess it doesn't matter.
Give it to, of course, hand down a lot of this stuff to my kids, but I realize they're not gonna want to keep most of this stuff unless, that'd be wonderful if they're into collecting as much as I am. Probably sell some to retire and buy an RV and travel the U.S. with my wife, and then travel the world. That'd be nice. But donate a lot of it to, I don't want to say needy kids, because I feel like I don't want to donate a book to a kid that needs, to eat. So maybe a library. Hey, I was a needy kid, so I'm from a third world country, so I could totally make fun of that.
Okay.
Because I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do with my Manara library, right? What kind of I need my porn buddy for that. I'm like, hey man, you want some of this smut? Yeah, I'll take it. Shit.
That's in my porn buddy box. Yeah, along with Crossed.
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard mine and Jess's thing, is that if something ever happens to us, we have a porn buddy that will come to our house and burn our shit that we don't want anyone else to know that we're into. Because my kids don't need to find that shit. Right? And Jess's family does not need to find that crap. Porn buddy. That's right. That's what you need. It's a good question. I always think about that stuff.
Yeah, I've sold my entire floppy collection last week. I sold my entire Silver Age collection, and I've sold my modern run. So really all I have now is just a handful of floppies and then a bunch of hardcovers and trades. My wife and daughter have absolutely no interest in it. So and I'm closer to the dirt nap age-wise than the rest of you guys. So I actually have I do have to have a plan in place for once I'm done reading it. I am going to probably have to unload it at some point, but I'm still I feel like I'm in the bottom of the sixth. That's sixth inning. It's not top of the ninth yet, so I still have some innings to go.
Well, it depends on how long your innings. Like, nobody's paying attention to those last 2 or 3 innings, really.
Yeah, I think that's probably when I'll have to sell my collection, when I get into the bottom frame. So I don't know. I do think about it, but I did unload my floppy collection and got some decent coin for it, and it's probably not as much as my wife would have liked, but they don't have to deal with it now because I unloaded it.
I got rid of a lot of my floppies many years ago. I would say about 80% of my stuff. It's hard for me to let go of some of those issues of Uncanny X-Men, especially the ones that I remember purchasing, or the issues with Wolverine and things like that. I have a hard time literally letting go of my past. And the perfect analogy of that is my fucking garage. My garage is just full of a bunch of empty boxes from toys and shit. And fuck you, Cycle Cleveland. I am not 51. And to answer your question, no one's special. I think I'm gonna do a tour of my room of my books, probably in May sometime is when I plan on doing it. I got a couple things coming in, so.
Ooh, I look forward to that.
Yeah, I love checking out everybody else's, the tours and stuff. I'm a big fan of because I love the way people stack their stuff sometimes. Like I remember seeing a tour one time where the guy stacked his books like laying flat like this on top of each other on a shelf. I thought that was really interesting. There's a guy that puts his books inside of like poly bags, like his covers. There's a guy that throws away his dust jackets. I can't remember where I saw that. I can't remember if that was a video I saw or a photo I saw on CBR. But it's interesting to see how you put your books. There's people that put their trade paperbacks with hardcovers. There's people that mixes their omnibuses with the OHCs. So I'll do it's weird. Like I stack my movies, my Disney movies in chronological order. I know I'm not the only one that does that. Does anybody else do their Disney animated movies in chronological order, the way they came out?
Wow, that's a good way to organize it.
I love it like that, man. And my kids now kind of know what I did there, and I did the same thing with Pixar. That about the only thing I did. Oh no, Studio Ghibli too. I did that with their movies. I love doing it that way.
Tyler Trent, no, the code does not apply to DCBS, only IST. The code that we've been talking about, only IST.
Omar, will your tour include vintage Hustler collections, or is that for Patreons only? This is probably the wrong time to say because we're talking about female creators.
Yeah,
never mind. No, never mind. I'll talk about that later.
Good.
There was a really good question, like, what is our favorite Superman run? I'm curious what yours is.
Oh, gosh.
Because I was in my 30s when I got into Superman. Even I mean, as a kid and when I was younger, I was big into the John Byrne Man of Steel and then the death of Superman. But yeah, Superman was just nobody wanted to be Superman. Everybody wanted to be Batman. It wasn't until my 30s that I started to appreciate the character more and more.
I will say the tail end of the Silver Age, right at the beginning of the Bronze Age run, with the famous. My favorite run was when the Neil Adams cover when he's busting the kryptonite chain, saying "Kryptonite nevermore." And I would think it starts that way. It's got great Kurt Swan art, and I can't remember who the writer was. I don't know, maybe Dennis O'Neil. I don't know. Or maybe it was Elliot Magan. I can't remember. I have the issue upstairs. That's one of the books that I saved that I did not sell, was the Superman with him busting the chains. That started a run where he had like a doppelganger from the sand, and it was really exciting to me that there was a big change in comics at the time. This was way back in the 70s, before your guys' parents were born, probably. So that's my favorite Superman run, starting with that Neil Adams cover, taking all the way through the arc where he deals with the doppelganger created out of sand after the event that makes him immune to kryptonite. I don't know. I guess I was probably 14 or 15 when that happened, and it just made a big impact on me. So I don't know that run has a particular name, but I loved it that there was a change in actual comics. That, oh my gosh, kryptonite isn't a thing anymore. And then I think he went from the Daily Planet to working for TV for Morgan Edge, and it just was a big deal to me. So that's my favorite Superman run. How about you, dude? You getting it?
Yeah, I got it. I had to go get it. So a few years ago, I did a whole run of Superman, like a readathon, because that's what I love to do. Is even though I have to push myself sometimes, just do readathons of characters or a series. And so, starting with Man of Steel by John Byrne, so post-Crisis. But my favorite run that I ran into was Jeff Johns' run. I absolutely love Jeff Johns' run. I can't think of. Maybe my favorite moment that he wrote is after the death of, spoilers a little bit here if you haven't read it, but it doesn't matter because that story gets wiped clean anyway. It's after the death of his dad, Pa Kent. Like,
what?
Shut up. Him and Ma Kent are, they're heading to visit the grave, and he's holding an umbrella, and it's right. No, it starts raining, so he picks her up to fly her, and she's like, "No, we don't fly to visit your father. We walk up there." And I thought that was a beautiful moment. I think it is one of the best runs, like all the way up to New Krypton, even though New Krypton kind of petered out at the end. But yeah, Jeff Johns' run on Superman is supreme. I don't know why we don't have an omnibus of this yet, but it better be coming because this stuff is awesome. And so the damn John Byrne run better be coming too. But those are my favorite runs.
And Man of Steel, I famously bought from you back before we even met.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was my first interaction with you, where you haggled me down on your own books.
Yeah, I was like, man, you're just going to pay what I ask? What the hell's wrong with this guy? He must have lots of money.
I didn't. I just thought it was a great deal. And you're like, man, don't pay what I asked. I got to teach you how to haggle. And I had never even talked to you before.
Yeah, that's how we met. I forgot about that. Kal-El, well done. I like Toriyama's run when Soups gets raced by a turtle hermit and gets over 9,000. Shit, by the end of that damn show or manga, that motherfucker's over like 900,000. I love Dragon Ball Z. He's making a Dragon Ball Z reference, by the way.
Oh, I was way over my head. Cycle Cleveland asked where I sold them. I sold them to my comic book advisor. My comic investment advisor bought my comics from me, and he'll probably be selling them at Baltimore Con, and I'll go give them a visit.
Like, I love the fact that you still call him a comic advisor. Like, that's a title. Let's see. Is there any other questions? Oh my God, that can't be real. Melanie Cleveland's asking Omar, did Frank Miller really write Vanilla Ice's Ninja Rap?
Did he?
I don't know. That can't be real. No way. I don't know, Melanie. I hope it's not true, because that's pretty fucked up. Jess, have you read Ape Sapien? Somebody's asking about the hardcover, Volume 1.
That's one of the few Mignolaverse books I have not read. I've read Witchfinder and Lobster Johnson and Hellboy Vampire. Let's see. I'm looking over at my collection now, and I just haven't. I'm going according to the Mignolaversity guide that's available, and Ape Sapien. I think I just haven't come up on it yet. I'm pretty sure you can read them whenever you want, but I'm going according to the list, and I think I have to read BPRD 1946, 1948, and then Ape Sapien will come up sometime after that, and that's when I'll read that.
So Ape Sapien, that particular Volume 1 collects like Ape Sapien Volumes 4 through 6, right? If I'm not mistaken.
And then the second one, collects 7 through 9.
Okay, so Volumes 1 through 3 are collected in the BPRD Hell on Earth 1 or 2. I can't remember the read. I know somebody told me the reading order, and it's out there on the internet too. So I haven't read Ape Sapien because I've been waiting on Hell on Earth Volume 2, because I thought it was Hell on Earth Volume 2 that stuff starts.
Right. That might be. Here I have Hell on Earth 1 right here, but it contains BPRD Hell on Earth, New World, Gods and Monsters, and Russia. So it must be the upcoming one that we're going to be getting this week.
Okay.
That contains that. You're saying that contains Ape Sapien 1 through 3?
I think it's one of those in one of those collections, or I thought they were going to put it. And Avatar says it's 3 through 5 in Ape Sapien Volume 1. Damn, that's confusing. Okay. But yeah, there's a reading order for that stuff. It's on the internet, but that's the way they decided to collect it.
Right. Jess, I'm on Volume 5 of Gwenpool. Yes, it's been a pretty fun read. Yeah, I love Gwenpool.
You're selling people on Gwenpool. Man, what has this world come to?
I love Gwenpool.
Yeah, fun. I know. I remember making fun of you and Gabe for like favorite Marvel titles of the year, and both of you were like Gwenpool, and he was like Spider-Gwen. I'm like, what the fuck? What bizarre world am I living in where you like the best Marvel titles have Gwen in it? Leave the girl alone, man. She died a long time ago. All right, time for just a couple more questions. Is Shape of Water Merman God an Ape Sapien knockoff? I really thought it was Ape Sapien because it's Guillermo del Toro, and he's the one that directed the first 2 Hellboy movies. And there were rumors that it was supposed to be a Hellboy prequel without being a prequel. And I think he's been asked about it too. But I don't know.
Did he comment in the affirmative that it was based on Ape Sapien?
No, he didn't. I don't think he commented.
Hmm.
Ooh, Biggie Cheese with the hard questions. What is your favorite comic story run? Favorite from Marvel and favorite from DC that's upbeat, but more fun and less deep and emotional. Woo, boy.
It's upbeat, but more fun and less deep and emotional. So
it's fun.
Kind of like candy and ice cream, sort of with type of comics. With no real nutrition, but they're really fun.
I hate to admit it, but what's his face writes fun comics is fucking Mark Miller. I'm not the biggest fan of that guy, but he really does write like Ultimates. I'm not talking about Old Man Logan, but like Ultimates and things like that. He was always good for doing that kind of stuff, like Nemesis, Kick Ass. Man, that's a good question, dude.
that's upbeat but more fun. I mean, I immediately thought of something like Gwenpool. That's completely undeep and no emotion except laughter.
Well,
It's a paper
I was
thin.
thinking of Deadpool too.
Yeah,
Um, there's that
Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's the same way.
there's that Deadpool and Spider-Man Joe Kelly collection that came out recently, the oversized hardcover. I thought that was a pretty fun collection. You guys reviewed that. Um, I would say Runaways, but Runaways has a lot of dark and sad moments. Man, what is a fun like? It's hard to say fun, right? Because most of these characters end up dying or something horrible happens to them because that's what happens when you write a story for so many years. You run out of things to do. So hey, let's kill off somebody to make them go crazy. Ah, hmm. Yeah, like I'm really enjoying all new Wolverine, but it's a lot of dark shit that happens in that book.
Yeah,
Uh,
Madman. Madman's good. It's upbeat and crazy. iZombie's the same way.
yeah, I would say iZombie's good too. That's DC. Beat. Yeah, you got me, man. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with as far as DC. I would go with Impulse. That was
Don't
really
know
good.
it.
That was an awesome run. That was Mark Waid having fun, like writing a character as he would have acted himself when he was like 15 years old and had all his hair back and was skinny and could run fast. I love the way that he writes that book. It's awesome. And damn, is there a Marvel book that's like that though? I mean, She-Hulk, Dan Slott's run is upbeat and fun, and
That's fun. Yeah.
yeah, I would go with that probably. I'm sure one will come to me after the episode, and I'm gonna be like, "Fuck!"
Cycle Cleveland, I just sold a bunch of Plop comics in that Silver Age box I had. Silver and Bronze Age boxes. I sold about 20 long boxes of comics, and there was a lot of Plop in there. So yeah, that's a fun comic.
Tyler Trent, that's right. Miss Marvel is fun. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ultimate,
Ms.
yeah,
Marvel
I was
is
gonna
good.
say Ultimate Spider-Man, but then there's some shit that happens in there too, like with Carnage, Gwen Stacy, and Peter Parker dying. Because I think about that. Yeah, I think about how long these runs are. Oh, Mark Waid's Daredevil. Biggie Cheese just said that. Yep, I agree. That's a good upbeat book.
Melanie Cleveland just mentioned Paper Chase. I loved Paper Chase, and John Houseman was great in it. It was a great TV show too, where he reprised his character. I like the TV show even better. This is back in the '80s, back like when Paper Chase was on Showtime or something, or HBO or something. I like the TV show even better than the movie. Yeah, we are
Not seen
getting an
it.
Impulse Omni. Are you going to be getting that
Oh
Impulse
yeah,
Omni?
I am totally getting that Impulse Omni. That's my jam back in the early '90s. I love that stuff. I hope they
Yeah.
continue with it too. Um,
I
so
know I didn't buy the Plop run. I sold them all. Sorry, Cycle Cleveland.
yeah,
Nail biter is upbeat. Yeah, sure. What TV, anime, comic, manga series that gets you depressed because they ended?
so many, so many. Mine are probably all old school, like
Well,
Masonic.
I'll tell you, I got depressed when they canceled Constantine. I thought that was a great TV show. They ripped my heart out when they canceled that.
You really dug it? Was
I
that good?
really did.
I don't know, man. They seem to just butcher that character, so I didn't even give it a shot. One of my friends worked on that show, though. He wrote one of the screenplays for an episode, and then
Really?
he was gonna be one of the screenplay writers because they kind of do like what Walking Dead and AMC shows do. They kind of just outsource the writers, the screenwriters. So it's they pay people less, pretty much, save money that way. And yeah, but it didn't get picked up, so he kind of lost that gig.
Oh, that's too bad.
Um, yeah, I didn't even watch it. So
Oh, I loved it. It was really well done, I thought.
was it?
Yeah. and they were just getting to the part where they were going to introduce the Spectre, and it got canceled. I mean, it was such a good show, really good. My
Really?
daughter and I loved it.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it
I have
only
to check it out.
lasted 6 or 8 episodes or something, but boy, we loved it.
He's isn't he in a TV show right now though?
Yeah, he's in Legends of Tomorrow, I think, and he's made appearances in some of the DC shows like Flash or Green Arrow or
Same
something.
same actor.
Yeah.
Hmm. Uh, Omnipool, you said Inuyasha, and I was thinking of Maison Koku and Ranma, which are done by Rumiko Takahashi. Now I also think of Kosei Fujishima's Oh My Goddess. I'm a big fan of that, and I hate it when that ended. I hate it when Blade of the Immortal ended. I thought that was a great book, and it could have kept on going longer. I'm not a big fan of endings, man. I'm kind of like, well, I'm not as bad as Gabe, where Gabe just refuses to watch the last few episodes, so it never ends. I don't look forward to because I have this feeling of like, oh, it's over. Now what am I gonna do with my life? Like every time something ends, right? Whether it's The Wire or 6 Feet Under, or well, Firefly. I never had that shot, but yeah, Firefly
God,
always
there's
great.
another great show that got canceled.
I think that's on everybody. Most people's
Yeah.
list.
Mm-hmm.
Shows that just died way too soon. We did get a movie out of that, which rarely happens, but nobody went to see that. I think it made like $5 million that the whole time it was out. And I remember Jackass 3, which came out the same year, made like $60 million opening night, and I'm like, man,
Jackass 3 is a classic, though. It
you
deserves
go
every dollar.
you go to hell, and you're the reason why Firefly. I'm sorry, Serenity did not do well at the box office.
I supported both. But I love Jackass. I bought both movies too. I bought them both. I never buy movies.
Carnival, Deadwood, yes, and Carnival and Deadwood both died because of Rome. Like they HBO. This is why I was worried about Game of Thrones on HBO. HBO has a certain amount of budget that they did. They were like, okay, we can only have one really expensive show, and we really want to do this Rome show, so we got to cancel Deadwood and cancel Carnival. At least Deadwood kind of had a not really a cliffhanger ending, but Carnival really ended with like book 1, and then we were supposed to get a book 2, but whatever. That was a great show. I hate when shows get canceled.
Did you watch Grimm at all?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch that or Once Upon a Time. That was
Oh,
coming
my
out the same.
daughter and I loved Grimm. We watched Grimm all the way through. That's one of the few shows that kept my interest all 6 seasons. I loved Grimm, and I thought they wrapped it up nicely. It was a good, really, really good ending to that show. Really good show. Loved it.
Well, Melanie Cleveland, now we're going to get a real Dark Angel because we're finally getting Battle Angel Alita. So I'm excited about that. Even with her big giant eyes, I'm good with that. I love the way that she looks.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There was a show by James Cameron on Fox. It was called Dark Angel. It had a really what's her name? She was Invisible Woman.
Oh, Jessica Alba. I watched that Dark Angel.
Yeah, so that was kind of what he wanted to do. It's kind of loosely based on the manga Battle Angel Alita, and he wanted to make it into a big screen. He's been wanting to work on this project for over 2 decades almost, and we're finally getting it with Robert Rodriguez directing it this year. So it's called Battle Angel Alita. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
Here's a good question for us from Travis Gilmer.
Mm-hmm.
Omar and Jess, as a relatively new collector working with a budget, how would you suggest attacking my wish list? Right now, my approach is I buy the books I think are most likely to go out of print, so I don't have to overpay for them down the road.
Yeah, and in this line of collected editions, it's difficult sometimes to see what books are going out of print. There's a forum that I'm a part of, and I'll still check it out every once in a while, that does a really good job of like when books are getting low on print, and that's the Marvel Masterworks forum. It's a wonderful place for now. There's a lot of knowledgeable people there that don't use Facebook, so they're not in the Facebook group. They're kind of old school, but it's really cool. Those guys are full of a lot of knowledge about it, like what books are low in print, what books have gone out of print. So if there's a book in your wish list that you're wondering if it's going out of print soon. Those guys are really good about calling when those books will be out and gone. Usually when books are about to go out of print is when they're liquidated, and you can find them on eBay for about 30 something dollars. But then you have books like Uncanny X-Force or Wolverine and the X-Men, which you didn't even have a damn second to be like, oh, these books didn't even go to liquidation. They're just gone. Or Annihilation for that matter. Even though it took Annihilation a little bit longer to go out of print because Marvel wasn't expecting that many orders to be filled, or or they would have printed a lot more because hey, they like money. And I'm really surprised Uncanny X-Force and Wolverine and the X-Men did not have a reprint yet. That's really weird. But I mean, this is the year where it seems like Brooks did a chart. Was it Brooks? I think did a chart of Omnis being printed and reprinting, and 2018 is the biggest year so far
For reprints?
of Omnis in general,
Omnis in general.
whether the new Omnis and reprints. It's a huge year, and they keep going up. So maybe next year, we'll have more reprints.
I would suggest attacking your wish list, buying what you think you're going to like. More importantly than worrying about if something's going to go out of print. Although I guess you should keep an eye on it. But as Omar said, those books usually get remaindered or whatever. Marvel just shoves them out the door. And yeah, I think with the Facebook group, it seems now that we have more information than ever on when a book's going to go out of print. So you should keep the pulse of that. But more importantly, buy what you really want to read, because before you know it, you're going to get a backlog like this, and you're not going to even know, where to attack it. So get what you think you're going to read, like right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Get what you like to. Don't just get things because they're going out of print or because the Facebook group is both wonderful and a curse at the same time, because those guys know how to start the fire and be like, oh my god, the Infinity Gauntlet box set's out of print, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta round up $279 somehow. I don't have enough blood to sell. So yeah, definitely get what you like. My wife was asking me, she's like, how much of this shit have you read? And I was like, 80%. I read every day. But then that stuff starts stacking up the more my orders keep going. So I'm like, oh, I need to slow down a little bit. Not for budgetary bullshit reasons, but because I need to just catch up on reading. I ain't that kind of punk.
Yeah.
Like some people in this.
Shut up.
There was a good question in there. Damn it, I forgot what it was.
Sam von Klexenberg, I have not read that book. I'm not even aware of that book. Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex?
I'm not either, but I like that title.
I don't know.
Oh, that's it. Cal L 313. Do you think Astonishing X-Men by Whedon will get a reprint? I don't know, because and I'm sorry, that's a stupid way to start the answer. Because
it's big help.
DC will not publish anything by what's his name anymore. The guy that got he got caught with. Oh no! Now he admitted to owning child pornography.
Oh, is he the artist on Astonishing X-Men?
No. I mean, don't get the two books mixed up. That's John Cassidy. No, this has nothing to do with Astonishing X-Men. I'm talking about what is his name? Jones. Something Jones. He wrote a lot of
Gerard Jones. Gerald
Jones. That's it. Gerard Jones. Yeah, did a lot of Green Lantern. So they canceled all those books. And then I know that Joss Whedon got some kind of, during that Me Too movement, he got accused of sexual misconduct or something. So I don't know if Marvel is in the same, I don't know. I don't know if they will reprint a book with his name on it yet, or if they're playing it safe. But yeah, that kind of sucks because the Justice League books will probably never see print ever again, like past the Giffen stuff. And this. I think you and I have talked about this, Jess, where like it's hard to like, for me, I've always been able to separate the art from the artist, right? Like, I love Michael Jackson, but when I was growing up, like, I mean, there was always the jokes and, the damn trial. There's a damn trial just about every day on the news with Michael Jackson being accused of, diddling little kids. But it's one of those things. Like, where do you draw the line? Where can you separate the artist from the art? Um, I think I would be okay with reading some of that stuff, but I know there's a lot of people that would not. So I think DC played it safe and like, nah, fuck it, we're canceling it.
Gabe asks if we've seen the cover to Alf 48. What's that about? I'm not going to go like I did 3 weeks ago, look forever for that cover to Green Lanterns. So somebody hit me up with a link to Alf 48 so I can, or oh, they can't link stuff.
No, they can't link. Just it's like, you ever heard of Google Images?
Yeah, but I did that with Green Lanterns 48 or whatever it was, and we spent
Okay.
half an hour.
It's worth a look. That's awesome. What the hell, Gabe? Yeah, Kal-El. I like the Cosby Show, but I won't party with him. You're fucking right.
Okay, I'll see if I can Google search this.
Biggie Cheese, you go Google search that. He's asking about X-Men. My favorite X-Men run is just yeah, you saw it. I'm gonna cheat and say Chris Claremont. All 17 years of Chris Claremont. The first time he was on, I swear it's like one giant epic story. But I always recommend God Loves, Man Kills. I think that is a great story that just summarizes everything that is wonderful about the X-Men. And then as far as jumping on point, if you're into Silver Age kind of writing, then the classic Claremont stuff, Volume 1 of the Omnibus, I think is a great jumping on point. That's where I would tell most people to go. Just started with, I think, New X-Men or Astonishing X-Men, right?
Sorry, I was looking at Alf 48. What were you talking about?
No, what was your first X-Men story you read? Was it Astonishing or New X-Men?
Let's see. The first one I read, I think New X-Men was the first one I ever read. Yeah. I found that to be much easier to understand and read than Uncanny X-Force cold. Once I got a little more Marvel and X-Men knowledge, then Uncanny X-Force made a lot more sense. But New X-Men, I just picked up and read, and I thought it was great.
Oh, okay. So where do you go after Astonishing X-Men? Man, branch out. Try out all the other mutants. I'm a big fan of the New X-Men run by Colin Yost. I was huge into that, and then that led into X-Force, and then, of course, that led into the Uncanny X-Force, Peter David's X-Factor, all that stuff. I mean, if you're familiar with the X-Men by then, branch out and try some of that stuff, because it is wonderful, especially Peter David's X-Men, or I'm sorry, X-Factor. It is some of the best, like, written X-comics that doesn't get a lot of love. So definitely recommend those. Let's see.
Oh, Brian McCormick, thank you. I appreciate it. It's territory ahead. My shirt. I appreciate that. Even my therapist liked it. She gave me a compliment today, and she throws around compliments like manhole covers. She doesn't throw compliments around. So I was pretty proud that she liked it.
All right, Jess, just a couple more questions, but I really like Omnipool's question. What are our favorite indie books? It's a wonderful question.
What's indie? Is Image counted as indie, or is it a biggie? It's the big three, so it doesn't really count as indie, right?
Why not? I mean, they're still, they're not owned by anybody. It's a creator owned, I think. Right? I think I would count it as indie.
Okay, I'm not going to count it as indie.
Okay, you snooty. Fine.
No.
Let's make this more difficult. Will IDW count then? Can I say Lock and Key?
Yeah, that's a great choice.
It's the same thing as Image. Image publishes these books like that, though, that are creator owned.
Well, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you're so snooty about indie comics. All right, fine. How indie do you want to go? What's that magazine by Crumb that he used to do?
Yeah, anything R. Crumb is what I like.
There you go. That's why, because you actually know real indie stuff. Like, you had to go in somebody's basement to get it, like fresh copy off the printer. Right. I grew up in the dark ages of comics, man. I'm sorry. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say Day Tripper, God Country, I Kill Giants.
Those are all great.
Mouse.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just, some of my indie stuff is downstairs. Damn, so hard to pick. One more. I think we've done this list before.
Our favorite indie books.
Yeah, Pride of Baghdad. I'm gonna go with Pride of Baghdad. Final answer. There we go. What about you, Jess?
I'm gonna go with.
Oh, somebody beat you to Astro City.
Oh
wait, that's Image though. Never mind.
Let's see. Let's see. My favorite book would be from Humanoids Mist Don't Touch Me, recommended by the fabulous Ice Cassie. There's even a book 2. No, I've got both of them. And there's 2 books. You can get 2 trades of Mist Don't Touch Me, or the hardcover that collects them both is out of print, so get the 2 trades. That is my favorite.
Biggie Cheese says that DC doesn't, or Vertigo doesn't count, so I can't use Day Tripper. Damn it. All right, let's see. Donald Duck by fucking Don Rosa. There we go. Final answer. Jess, how many have you named?
I just named 1.
Come on, man. Catch up. Get 5 out there.
Okay.
Use Image. What about Strangers in Paradise? Strangers in Paradise. What about that?
Strangers in Paradise, Doom Boy.
Doom Boy's solid. I like that too.
I like Muse from Humanoids.
Blankets. I know we talked about Blankets.
Yeah. Too Cool to Be Forgotten by Alex Robinson. That's great. That's really great. Okay, I'm looking. Just calm down, everybody. You got no place to go. Stuff of Legend. That's great.
Oh, I love that book. And that's coming back, I think, this year.
Ooh,
it was on hiatus for like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, that's a solid book.
I love Motor Girl. I got the omnibus of that. That's good. Tricked by Alex Robinson's also good. Wild Blue Yonder from IDW. That's great. So I think that's How the World Was from First Second. That's fantastic.
Bone is good. Somebody just mentioned that.
Yeah.
Bone is solid.
Sure is.
Wildcats. Wildcats is pretty awesome. False. I am not Gabe.
Forget it. Yeah, and Leaning Girl and Theory of the Grain of Sand. Those are both great. The Fifth Beatle. That's a great independent book.
Yeah, I like that too. Oh, what was the Kurt Busiek book? The Wizard.
Oh, Wizard's Tale. Yeah,
Wizard's Tale. Love that book. Yeah, I think
the Wizard's Tale.
IDW owns the rights to it now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to First Kingdom, which I made Jess buy. You did buy it, right?
I did buy it. Yep.
All right, cool. First Kingdom. All right, great question. Now,
I did
now you all know how
week.
to spend your money at InStockTrades with your extra 4% off that you get for a week.
4%. We gave you 4%.
4% is a big deal when it comes to that, because you don't get a lot of discount on independent books. Image, not Image, but like some of the stuff that we were talking, like IDW and or Blankets by Craig Thompson, things like that. So
you bash Pim and Francie. Pim and Francie haunts my house. It's got a special place of its own in the bookcase. It's the other books are scared of it.
You had an extra copy of that. I was like, I needed to buy that. I could not remember the name of it.
It's back in print, so you can get it still.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's up my alley. That's a weird ass book.
Oh yeah, it's the other books are scared of it. It's on a shelf by itself. It's haunted. It's definitely haunted. All
right, guys. Been on for a couple of hours. I think.
That's 10 o'clock.
That's good. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. The discount code again was brought to you by InStockTrades. Wonderful company. Everybody knows by now. So 4% off starting tomorrow at midnight for a week. The code, which is Omnibroslive, it's not case sensitive, so you can type it however you want to, all one word. Omnibroslive, the name of the show. And it's not stackable with the loyalty discount for 2%. So thank you for joining us. Jess, what last words would you like to say?
Well, I think that probably counts as IST's pitch. So thank you, Actually, thank you, Omar, for helping put together that IST code and IST sponsorship. Without Omar, we would not have any of that. So Omar did us a great service by.
You need to tell my wife and my mom that I have a reason to exist.
You are
it's
a
my
great
pleasure,
guy, and you did a great service by getting us IST on board with us because they are a great sponsor and great people. And I'm really happy that everybody's excited about the 4% Club, as Iron Cardinal's calling it. It's good for a week. So, yeah, thank you, Omar. And thank you, Brian McCormick, for the compliment on my shirt. Let's get a better look at my shirt. Yeah, look at this.
I'm so glad you're wearing
splendor of me.
So glad you're wearing pants. Awesome. Good job.
Yeah. See, I have shorts on, so there we go. Yeah, I put pants on for this episode.
You guys are more than welcome. You know, I love this show. It's wonderful, and I love the people that are that take part of the Facebook group and in the chat. So, it's my little way of helping everybody out. And InStockTrades is a wonderful sponsor. And on that note, you can find me on my channel called Near Mint Condition, where we talk about geek topics every Thursday. And then I'm going to start a show with a couple of my friends that are new to comic books. It's called Old Reader, New Reader, where I reread something again, because I've been reading comics for 35 years, and they read something for the first time. And
that's a good idea.
Kind of discuss it. It's really cool because, you know, it's kind of things we talk about when we get together. I'm like, hey, why don't we just make a show about that? So it's going to be part of our show. I think we're going to do our first one is Infinity Gauntlet, because it's just, you know, the movies coming out, Avengers, and I'm curious to know what they think. And I haven't read that book and reread that book in 10 years, so I'll go back and tackle that. And
are these friends that are local to you, so you'll actually be getting together with them, or are they spread around the country?
No. We all live fairly close, but it's just easier to do it this way, you know, because we all got lives, kids, and things like that. So
you're not going to go out in the backyard in a tree house and read comics? That would be great. Build yourself a tree house, get up there, get lemonade, some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and read comics all day.
Well, these are two girls, right? So, like, in a treehouse, the last thing I'm going to be doing with two girls is reading comic books.
Yeah. I didn't know that part.
And of course, we're talking about the female creators. I leave that joke for the female creators. Like,
no, you left that part out. Yeah, no, you should be chaperone for that.
Yeah, probably.
You can find me on OmniDog's Vault. I'm due to make. No, I'm behind. I am due to make some videos. I have energy for once in my life, so I'll try and do one tomorrow, because I got to finish Global Frequency so I can review that, because I love it. And you can find me on Instagram at OmniDogs_Vault. That's where I post hauls and things of that nature. So thanks everybody for tuning in, participating in the chat, getting the code. Everybody's excited. You should be. We are really excited too, because we get to use the 4% too. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Win-win, right?
Yeah. No losers in this, except for me. I lost the bet. God damn it. Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time on OmniBros Live. Peace and love. Peace and love.